Hey guys, so finally finished this piece. It was supposed to be just the art for Sol Ring, the Magic the Gathering card, because it's just a really famous card, and I use it all the time in my Commander playsets. But I was originally going to replace the Sol Ring with the coin from Hearthstone, just kind of just blend the two games together that I play a lot in, and I did that. And when I drew it on the canvas, I kind of realized that the area around the Sol Ring, which, around the coin, which would normally be the void of space in the original card art, it looked really empty. Like, if you can see right now on the canvas, the coin doesn't really take up that much space, and the little pillar doesn't either. And I didn't want to do everything around it all black, so I started brainstorming ideas as to how to make it look a little better. So I decided instead to have the coin on the pillar be in a jungle in the World of Warcraft universe, so just using part of the weird plants found, basically inspired from the artworks in the Ungoro crater. So I just started putting leaves on the right side, drawing those in, putting a little bit of vines here and there, a little tentacle going around it from the various plants found in Ungoro, and I put a little, like, not a Venus flytrap, the other flytrap, the one that's like a little, it's like a little cup with acid in it. I forget what it's called, but it's there on the left. So I drew I wanted to make it so that the Sol Ring coin thing is in the jungle and you're kind of just looking for it, and the piece is supposed to reflect you finding it. But I wanted to keep a little bit of the space around it from the original piece onto the artwork. So I instead made it so that the coin itself kind of irradiates this magical energy around it that works kind of like a portal. So the coin exists in space, right? But it allows itself to exist in both the space that it's in and the position in the jungle where you find it in. So if you were to reach into this little black void that I'm drawing, you would be in space. You would be either in space or in some weird black void. But since it's pinned down to the earth and the pillar, it stays in the jungle. Which is why none of the plants can actually be seen over the... Well, you can't see now, you'll see later. When I start painting the plants, I don't have any of them actually go over the purple, because the purple is supposed to be that unyielding space kind of thing, which is why I added the little white dots and made it a very, not haphazard, but a very uneven tone from purples into blacks. Because there's not a lot of black in the piece after this, and there's only very little purple, so I made it a very dark purple and black instead of just a solid black to a little bit. Add a little bit of space dust feeling. And add a little bit of white dots to put the stars. And for the coin here, I fixed the problem with my old altar where instead of trying to blend brown with yellow to make a golden, I just bought gold paint. I bought gold paint and used it, and then I just used a little bit of the original yellow for the front piece, and I drew the little insignias that are usually found on the side of the coin using a very thin thin brush using black paint, because black just seemed to stand out more among the yellow, even though it's just a darker brown in the original coin. I messed up the actual circumference of the coin here, and by the time I realized it was too late. I probably should use a compass for it, but again, too late at this point when I realized it painting this. The crystal, the mana crystal in the coin, I kind of just went from a sky blue paint and just kind of made a little gradient to show the shading coming in. Now the shading, the light source of this piece, I was originally going to have it be from the top down, so as if light from the sun was coming down onto the canvas. So I would have all of the light tones on the top, all of the shadows would be in the bottom. But as you can see here, I didn't do that. I instead made the shadows... Well, it seems like the shadows are coming from the top left, but the light's coming from the top left. But I instead made it so that the light source of the piece would be the coin itself, would be this weird spacey thing. I added a little white around it to kind of show that it's showing it's like radiant at least a little bit of light. So right now I finish off the circle, and you'll notice when I start shading in the individual plants or everything around it, the shadows will be at the borders of the canvas, and the lighter parts of everything in it will be towards the coin, as if the coin was illuminating everything around it, which probably made it really easy to find if you were actually looking for it. Again, this piece was just mainly done with the acrylic paint that I always use. You can see right here, little apple things that I buy at Walmart because I can't afford really expensive acrylic paints. Right here, I messed up a little bit with the purple. tentacle thingy here is supposed to go the other way around and kind of curl over, but I fixed it a little bit later. I wanted this to kind of show that the pillar doesn't just kind of pop in out of existence. It's been there long enough for vines to go around. It's just that the coin continuously does this little weird dimensional shift from the place in the jungle to the space. Now the eggs, I did them based on the various eggs from the Ungoro expansion of Hearthstone, where they're not solid eggs, they're just eggs with these weird, kind of like the clouds from SpongeBob, where they're just little like flowery, vibrant colors just randomly placed on the eggs. And I was originally going to do the eggs to be this dark tan color with a pink on it, but then I wanted to switch the colors around. And you'll see I switched the tan for the middle egg in a little bit after this. So I went with pink for the middle one, and I went for a reddish orange for the left one, and then just a flat red for the right one. Now here, I made a mistake in positioning the canvas onto my easel. Right now, you can't see from here, but I can't paint at the bottom edge of the canvas because the little metal part holding the canvas to the easel kind of blocks the little bottom edge. And after this, you'll realize I'll turn it, and you can actually see the parts that I didn't get to paint. And I kind of just go back in and try to fix them with the orange. I really, from now on, I think I'm going to start positioning the canvases in a way that doesn't do that. Because I noticed it on the Petite Dragon video when I resaw it. Same mistake. There were edges that I had to paint over afterwards. After I made the video entirely, I went back and fixed it. Now, after this, I think I just focused mainly on the leaves. So I knew right off the bat that the majority of this piece was going to be purple and green, and various different tones of green, shades of green, I mean. So that's why I made the eggs these vibrant pink and yellows and oranges. And you'll notice later with a little bit of the flowers, I make them colors that aren't green and that aren't dark. I made them vibrant, bright colors because everything else around it was going to be this really muddled green-black. So I wanted to make things stand out a little bit more. Now for the leaves here, I kind of just took the same shading approach for each individual leaf, where I would make the mid-tone first be a regular green, darker green along one edge, and then the lighter green to show the highlights from the lights coming from the coin. You gonna do it right now? Yep, right here. And the way I like to blend with acrylics is I tend to just, while the mid-tone is still wet, I go over it with a slightly watered down brush with the colors that I'm trying to shade into, such as the light green on the top and the dark green on the bottom. This allows the paints to blend together without me having to do a lot of extra work or without me forcing the blending to happen. And as you can see from that leaf, it looks perfectly fine. Now, I use a darker green for the leaf behind it because it's supposed to be not only further down on the ground, but if I were to make it a similar shade of green, it wouldn't look good. It would just look like a weird green mess of the same kind of green. So while those two dry, I go up and I start painting that flower over there on the top. Painted it orange just to simply make a vibrant color for the beginning, for the middle of it, and just put the leaves around it. I go a little bit lighter on the green for this one, and you can see right here is when the shading thing starts happening, where the darker tones are more on the edges of the piece, and I made the little veins. I'm not sure if they're actually referred to as veins, but the little veins from the leaves, I make them the lightest shade of green that I can find relative to the individual leaf. So like the lightest green that I did for that dark leaf on the right is the mid-tone for the leaf in front of it. Because it just makes it stand out a little more, and if I would have used the white-green mixture that I used to the other leaf, it wouldn't look right. You can see here the other little leaf there and the leaf that I draw on top are somewhere in between the darkest green that I used for the right leaf and the bottom leaf. Again, this is just to separate them a little bit more, make them easier to see. With the eye, it's easier to look at. What this also does is it makes it so that the coin isn't just on the purple-black background, but that background is also focused and centered by the green background around it. Kind of shifting all of the focus to the coin, which is supposed to be the focal point of this entire piece. It's supposed to be the coin floating like a Sol RIng would. And this wasn't really planned out, it was completely accidental as I was putting in the coloring, having all of the colors focused towards the center, and adding the shading to it, making it so that it tricks the eye into believing that light is actually coming from the coin, made it a really good illusion, that made it a really good good composition, basically, is what I'm trying to say. This piece actually uses good composition, which is how you position the individual pieces of your painting to portray a certain message. Message being that, hey, there's a coin here, that's the valuable thing. Now here I start drawing the plant, and I make the plant purple because I realize that those plants that are poisonous, that are just venomous, well, they're not venomous, they're poisonous, that trap bugs and all that, they wouldn't really make sense being a vibrant, bright yellow, or a bright orange, or even a blue, because blue doesn't really appear in nature all that much, which is a weird thing that I learned later in life. And also because in the context of this piece, all of the bright colors are for very harmless things like the plants or the eggs, while the purple is used by all of the dangerous things, which is another thing that I realized in the artworks for the various cards in the Ungoro expansion. Purple was specifically placed on dangerous or just dangerous, unsafe things in the Ungoro crater that you'd want to stay away from, like the razor petal lashers, the individual razor petals that they would shoot out. The Faldori Strider was, that wasn't Ungoro, that was someplace else. The venom from Envenom weapon was purple from a purple flower. So I made the venomous flower here purple with green leaves because that just fits the overall themes and motifs that were used in the artwork represented in the Ungoro cards. Here I messed up a little bit with the middle and top leaf of the venomous plant on the left because I used too thick of a brush to put the veins of the leaf, and you can see in the middle and the top, it's too thick and it doesn't look good compared to the leaves in the bottom of the painting. Well, the right side of the painting, that is now the bottom. It doesn't look nearly as solid, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't seem as solid as everything else. After this, I moved on to the tentacles coming out from behind the flowers, kind of just reminding the viewer, well, not the viewer, but reminding the person looking at this piece that, oh, it's a jungle, there's things that are alive here. I was going to start thinking about putting in maybe bugs or like the eye sockets of a dinosaur or something in the background that showed a living creature ready to attack or something, and then I was originally going to put that in, but then I decided against it because it would shift the focus away. It really would. If you saw a pair of eyes or claws somewhere on the outskirts of the piece, your eye would get drawn to it. And I didn't want that. I wanted the eye to be focused as much as you could on the coin. And as you'll see a little bit later, once I start painting the individual, when I start painting the background, I make the background not a black, I make it a very dark green. Like very dark faded green. I actually used the same green that I used for the leaves, only made it really, really dark. And it's a little easier to see the green here from this angle. I did this because a solid black rarely looks good on a painting. On anything really. Solid black and solid white don't look good because they look lazy, they look cheap. Really, because nothing is ever really truly all black in nature or in life. It's very rare things that are truly devoid of all light. And if you're looking at it, it's probably not completely black. Here I made it a dark green because you're in the jungle, you're meant to be exploring, finding this thing, and you just find this coin. Your focus is on the coin, and the leaves kind of around it on your peripheral vision, I think? Yeah. I can't pronounce it. I can't pronounce words like that. I'm sorry. But if you're actually there and standing there looking at this coin, your focus is going to be on that and the leaves around it. And even though there's leaves or the floor or things behind that, you're not going to be focused. Your eyes aren't really going to focus, and you're just going to see like the dark green background. You're not going to think about that. You're going to think about the things directly in front of you. That venomous plant over there, maybe the tentacles coming up. Things a little more direct in your eyesight. You wouldn't be focusing on the dark background, on the background. And yeah, here I start finishing off the background. I just make it dark green. After this, I just do what I always do, and I sign my name next to it. And I really liked how this piece came out. I would do some things back. If I were to go back to it, I would probably do the background first and then paint over the background. I didn't do that because I didn't want the bright colors to clash with the paint already in the bottom. It's a weird thing with acrylics that sometimes when you paint over a dark color with a light color, the light color gets tinted or changed and it doesn't look as good. So I wanted to avoid that entirely and just do the background last, which, as you can see from the leaves on the what is now the right side, what is actually the left side, the background kind of goes over and covers the leaves a little bit and messes up a little bit of the color. Anyway, Here I just end up signing my name. I was going to sign it red, it didn't come out well, so I just signed it blue like always. And I hope you like this piece, guys. And if you have any ideas for any further piece, let me know. Next week should be the Farewell to the Year of the Mammoth digital piece, which I think might be a 2-part video. It's getting a bit long now. If you like this, like and subscribe, share with your friends. If you guys know anybody else who enjoys artwork or Hearthstone or Magic in general, share this video for me, it would mean a lot. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!